I thought I wouldn't be able to live long enough to tell this story. I work at a small gas station. I should mention the only one in about a 15-mile radius. I don't do much, just watch the cameras and supervise just to make sure nothing out of sorts happens. This particular day seemed off, but I had thought nothing of it, stopping as usual to say goodbye to my dog and 2 cats and my girlfriend. I pull out of the driveway and start my 4-mile drive to work as the stars twinkled above. My co-worker, the only other one assigned to assist and work alongside me, had called in sick. Now, I had not been aware of this until I had arrived. The 10-hour shift starts, as usual, at 11 p.m. with me setting up at my desk with my oversized mug of coffee. This particular night, I had been extremely tired taking care of my sick girlfriend all day. So as I stared blankly through the monitor, my eyes drooped more and more with every blink until I was out cold. The hours tick past midnight as I was awoken by shuffling through the monitor had caught my attention. It was a man with what seemed like maybe his daughter. Her white eyes made her teeth look rotten in comparison. She had on a puffed up face with eye bags so big you could swim in them. She had this certain look in her eyes that cried and pleaded for help. The man and girl proceeded through the store looking to buy a pack of condoms, a 24-pack of beer, and some hot Cheetos. As store policy, I greet them at the cash register and begin to check them out. As a normal human, I begin to make some small talk with the man who wants nothing to do with me as I ask for his identification. He blows up and starts yelling and screaming like he is being tortured, and I'm frozen like a deer in headlights, scanning my brain for my next move. Something deep in my conscious told me to save the girl and run. The man stops. I ask, sir? Are you okay? Do you need help with something? The man's head springs and locks up at a 45-degree angle. That was all I remember after waking up in a large yellow room with seemingly no end, slightly above a dimly lit setting. It reeked like old must-stained carpet, and to my left was this girl who had walked in the store with the man. Except something was off. Every time I looked over to her or tried to speak, she would morph into different ages. One, a bright young girl with a gleam in her eye. Another, a flirtatious blonde girl in her 20s, almost being suggestive of something. The last one, a wrinkly old bag who couldn't hear or see hardly anything. As natural instinct had pushed me to do, I explored deeper and deeper into this network of interconnected rooms and pathways. My gut drops as I see the man who walked in the store. Every signal my brain could have sent that I was in danger went off. The man who was seemingly calm almost teleports into me. He is going so fast and I end up back at the store, but everything just seems slightly off. Please help. I will never forget my first night shift as a security guard. It was my first night shift job, and I was excited yet nervous at the same time. I was hired as a security guard at a supposedly abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the town. My job was to do regular rounds and make sure everything was in order. As I walked through the dimly lit corridors, I couldn't shake off the feeling that someone was watching me. Every little sound made me jump, and I was constantly checking my surroundings. But the worst was yet to come. As I was making my rounds, I heard a faint whisper coming from one of the rooms. I froze in my tracks and strained my ears to listen. It was definitely a voice, but I couldn't make out what it was saying. I cautiously approached the room, But as I got closer, the whispering stopped. I shrugged it off as my imagination and continued with my rounds. But as the night progressed, I heard more and more strange noises, footsteps, doors creaking, and even laughter. The more I heard, the more my anxiety grew. As I was passing by a particularly dark corner, I saw something move out of the corner of my eye. I turned to face it, but there was nothing there. I shook my head and tried to convince myself that it was just my imagination, but deep down, I knew something was off. Finally, as my shift was coming to an end, I heard a blood-curdling scream coming from the main hall. I ran towards it, but as I got closer, I realized that the source of the scream was coming from the room where I had heard the whispering earlier. I hesitated for a moment, but then I mustered up the courage to go in. What I saw will haunt me for the rest of my life. There was a figure in the corner of the room, hunched over and covered in blood. Its eyes were glowing in the dark, and it was staring right at me. I ran out of the room as fast as I could and called the police. To this day, I don't know what happened in that warehouse, or who or what that figure was, but one thing is for sure. I will never forget my first night shift job. This was a few years ago. I was working graveyard at a 7-Eleven. The power went out. Should be the end of the story, but it was empty in the store, so I decided to take the opportunity to drop the cash from the register into the safe. As I am in the middle of doing this, the power goes out. I think, no biggie, just wait it out, and if need be, mention the issue to the manager when they get in. I don't know if this guy somehow managed to open the door when I wasn't looking without making a sound, or if I had missed him coming in earlier, but when I looked up, just out of the moonlight pouring in from the door, was some dude dressed all in black, wearing a shiny ass motorcycle helmet. I don't startle easily, and just assume he's a customer. I ask him if he needs help finding anything. Guy tilts his head to the left and holds up a hand. He's holding a tire iron. He can't see behind the counter, but we kept a huge crowbar back there for maintenance. He takes a step forward without saying a fucking word. I yank the crowbar up and point it at him. I've chased people with knives and bats out of the store before when threatened, even craved confrontation, because it makes the nights go by faster. But this guy genuinely scared me. You can leave upright or in a stretcher, I managed to mumble out, far less intimidating than I wanted to be. The guy stops, straightens up, and starts hyperventilating under the helmet. He takes the tire iron in both hands and screams at me before running to the door and booking it into the parking lot. Power came back on 2 hours later. Nothing else happened, but I was tense for a week straight. Every non-regular that came in at night made me wonder, is this the guy?